and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Teresa, please take the roll.
Okay, Mayor Jones.
Here.
Kill.
Here.
Bowen.
Here.
Behrens. Here. Mattson. Here. Jazz.
Yes.
And Horn is absent with notice.
All right, do we have any additions or motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Behrens?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Okay, how about the minutes from the 2/18 meeting?
Motion to approve 218 minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Behrens?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
No bills?
No bills.
Nobody in the public, and Dr. Knight's already on as visitor, so we can jump past that and go right to you, Dr. Knight.
Sounds great.
Nice shoes.
Take one of those and pass it on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take one, pass it, you bet. Well, Council and Mayor, thank you for allowing me to come and address or talk with the City Council a little bit. I haven't had that opportunity yet, so it's a good opportunity just to share a little bit about what the school district's doing, what we've got going on, and then walk through a little bit of our tax structure. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we don't have a lot of control over it now. The legislature has pretty much taken the cramps on that, and then we adjust and make happen what we can out of that. But in 1864, public education was started in South Dakota. In my opinion, easily the greatest institution for learning, growth, and development, and the greatest return on investment. Personally, I don't like paying taxes, but yeah, part of the deal. And so then I look at it as an investment. What do I get for my return? And obviously I'm a little biased, but the investment into public education returns investments over and over and over again, developing the next doctors, teachers, lawyers, city council members. And so I guess I have to be okay with that. And it also pays my salary. After the evening of February 18th, the city council meeting, there was a discussion on, or a public hearing on, regarding tax assessments for road improvements. Again, a necessity and things that you folks have to do. After the public comment, Mayor Jones is quoted as saying, "Our school taxes aren't by no means the cheapest around here." The next morning, I heard from a few stakeholders, I would say rightfully so, in an area or process of being as transparent as we can. I think those phone calls are good, to be able to walk through our Hartford or Humboldt or anybody that lives in a 165 mile or square mile district. And so I invite those, and anytime that you have questions and wonderings, or anybody as a community member, give me a holler, and we can grab a cup of coffee or just chat on the phone. But that brings me here today, because again, the community tax dollars that fund our schools are extremely important to us. All of the data that we're gonna walk through is public data, and so you can get it off the Department of Education website. And so we're just gonna take a quick peek at that, kind of moving left to right from the top. The top is a holistic view, everything. And so if you had a house in town, if you had a house outside the city limits, if you owned a business, and then a couple that you don't, special ed and bonds don't really affect, but we'll just walk through that. So capital outlay, our capital outlay fund, the mill levy is $1.44 per thousand, and that goes, our capital outlay funds in the school. Basically, if you kick it and it hurts, it comes from capital outlay. School bus, computer, furniture, desks, things like that. And so you can see there, again, at $1.44. Our owner occupied, so that's everybody within city limits that owns a single family dwelling. And that's $3.29. Again, I rank them from 7 being the worst to 1 being the best. You may or may not know me very well, but I'm fairly competitive. I enjoy winning, but I hate losing. And so I ranked them that way. The egg levy, again, if you lived outside the city limits, you had an acreage with some land, you would pay that egg rate at $1.47. Special ed, every Minnehaha County School District is at $1.57. The state sets that and it doesn't adjust from there. If we go back to capital outlay, in 2018, the state gave school districts 2 years to get to $3 or 3 meals per. At that time, the West Central School District, the board administration decided not to go to 3. Probably fiscally responsible, but it could be in a different scenario. Instead of doing some projects in a 2 or 3 year span, like our high school is going to need a new parking lot, probably a $2 million deal, and we'll have to split that amongst 2 different fiscal years, carrying over, starting doing a little work, and then our fiscal year starts in July, and then getting that new money July 1st and doing kind of the second half of that. But maybe some of those projects, if they had gone to $3, we wouldn't be waiting for. Now it's adjusted by the Department of Education and the state every year, where you get a 3% increase just in your total revenue that you get, and that levy continues to lower as valuations within our school district go up. For the first time ever, we got over $1 billion in valuations, and so as we continue to grow, that levy will continue to lower at $1.44. We talked about special ed bond. That's if you pass a bond and build a new school or pass a bond for major improvements. Ours is at 66 cents for a levy. That has 2 more years and it'll be at 0. We don't have anything forecasted and a major need that bond would cover, so likely it will come off. If our enrollment continues to grow, we bought land on the south side of Mickelson Avenue where potentially a new middle school would go. We also bought some land at La Mesa and Maple over in Sioux Falls, the potential for an elementary, 1 or 2 section school, depending upon what kind of growth would be over there. Busing is a challenge, and so as that sewer hops La Mesa Avenue in Sioux Falls, we anticipate to see some challenges and wanting to get ahead of the game over there. But as of right now, that bond levy, that will come off about 1.5 years now. The commercial levy, $681, again, as if you owned a business. Total levy, $1529, or $1524 rings first amongst Minnehaha County Schools as the cheapest. If we slide down, it's the exact same data, but since it is the Hartford City Council, just wanted to make it relevant to Hartford. And so if you were a single family, you owned a single family dwelling here in Hartford, again, $696 would be the total levy that you would contribute towards the West Central School District. Again, within Minnehaha County, it ranks first, and we're proud of that. There's a lot of legislation out there again this year to change a lot of things that we do and how we operate. House Bill 1235 cuts our capital outlay from a 3% increase in revenue down to 2%. We also used to be able to capture all of the new growth, and so if there was a new development, we used to get all of that. They want that at 2%, and so when Teresa called and said maybe a tip on a new development that's going, if this passes, then that new development, we would never capture any of that. It's if and whens, but our legislature's looking for something to do for property tax relief, and so it's likely to move along, and we'll make adjustments on the 1% cut there. House Bill 1093 would require bond votes to happen only on primary and general elections. If you know anything about bonds and how they don't pass the first time, then we would wait again after it didn't work for a couple of years, and who knows what rates and prices would do, likely cause us to go back out to bidding and all of that. Senate Bill 208 would require capital outlay certificates, opt-outs, and other agreements to be voted on. We did the 8 classroom, new gym, new cafeteria, new lunchroom, new serving area of Hartford Elementary with capital outlay certificates. There's no impact to residents. We did it through capital outlay certificates, but for some reason they want us to take that to a vote as well, so that could be a potential change as we look to continue to improve things and potentially expand. Again, as a fiduciary of public funds, we work very diligently to provide the best education possible, while also being as efficient as possible. There are 148 school districts in South Dakota. We're the 10th most efficient. And again, some people say, wow, celebrate that, you're 138. Better than 138 school districts. I look at it as, how can we get the next 9? While still providing a high quality education. So again, just in closing for the data that I have, and I have no problem with some questions, but it appears we are the cheapest around. We will continue to provide a high quality education while being very fiscally responsible and as efficient as we can. Any questions?
I've got a couple questions.
Absolutely.
I do too.
Mine are not, mine will go quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So, and I appreciate that, because
Start your watches.
I want
Hey, when I say I'm gonna go quick, obviously, taxes are on everybody's mind, and it has been. 2 years ago when I ran for council, #1 issue, but okay, so with new developments, and I have to do some research on this, so like, if they develop over in that Assam property, so you guys don't get any of this, you guys don't get any money if there's a TIF?
So
Is that-
during the period of the TIF, we would get the same tax structure as the black dirt that was there before,
Oh, okay.
for 10 years or however long the TIF is.
Yep.
Previously, when that TIF would be over, we would capture that new growth.
Get all of that.
Get all of it. But House Bill 1235 is cutting it to 2%.
Okay.
So we used to count a lot on, if we had a project, okay,
Right.
we can get this new growth, new development, we'll pay out in 2 years, we'll wait, we'll do the project then. But now it's just gonna be a 2% deal, and so we'll have to,
But you do get a per student click for every new student from that development, right?
into our general fund, we would, but in terms of addressing our facilities, so that's the problem. As we get more kids, the general fund is gonna be there to teach them, pay teacher salaries,
You can't do the
turn the
capital
lights
on.
on. I mean, you could, but we just don't. The way our funding is, we won't ever catch up.
Okay, one more question, because I know the mayor's chomping at the bit.
Nope, not jumping.
So with the, when you get I pay my taxes twice a year.
Yep.
And I was talking to somebody, like, he was telling me, and I don't know if it's true, he's saying, hey, 80% of my he was saying 80% of his property taxes go to Brandon Valley. I'm like, that seems like a lot. So is that decided by the equalization office for like which school district or county, or I guess the school district for the percentage breakdowns? Because, I get 3 breakdowns, right? You get your school district, your city, or county and city. Who is that? Is that decided by the equalization office?
It is, and we get about 70% of the total taxes, about,
Okay.
depending upon
How you
where
break
it
it
falls
down?
and where it goes. But about that, and the state kind of divvies out ours and tells us what we are or aren't gonna get, but about 70.
Okay, perfect. Those are Mayor, you're next.
All right, Eric, I'm not gonna question your numbers, but we get a sheet from Minnehaha County that shows the levies. And if you're using 23 data here, the sheet that we get from the county says West Central's owner occupied was 7.884. Now, I don't know where the difference is, but I see you have 6.96 down here. I'm just curious. This is a form that we get. I can give you this if you want,
You're probably off the same Department of Revenue website that I got yours on.
but I'm,
Is it 24 data?
this is 23 taxes payable in 24, and I have 24 taxes payable in 25. I got 3 or 4 or 5 years back if you want to see them all.
Yeah, so mine should be 23 payable 24.
That's this one. And you show over here mill levy rank, Hartford at 5.8. This one shows us at 5.2.
Sure.
Okay? I'm not questioning your numbers, just that when you started going through this, I pulled my sheet out and I thought, that's different from what, and I believe this is what
That's
it
from
goes
the
by.
county equalization. And you
Yeah.
get off the county side,
So-
yeah.
Sure, and I pulled them off of the Department of Revenue.
Yeah, so. As I told you when we first talked, I didn't think that my comment was gonna set off such a storm. I apologize to you that it did, but Sean asked the right question. It is, if you want to look at perception or reality, how much taxes do we pay? Guess where the most of our taxes goes? It does go to the school. It doesn't go to the city. The question that the guy asked was, you guys in the city are you're charging us way too much tax. That's why I made the comment, okay? If you wanted in context, that's why I said that to him, because it's not just us.
Well, and I think he specifically talked about increasing the taxes.
Yeah.
And I think, that's where our mill levy has actually been going down.
Yes.
So the valuation of your property is going up,
Yeah.
maybe ridiculously, potentially, but what we're actually assessing for taxes for
Right.
the city goes down.
And that's why I said, I was more than happy to have you come. In front of the camera, everybody will be able to see what you said. So, that's what I wanted to get accomplished. Sean, you got another question?
I do, and this is more just because obviously that time of the season's coming up, right? And I was talking to somebody in my office, they're like, I've never heard of mill levy. And I'm like, well, I've been on council for 2 years and I'm still trying to comprehend this. So you said in the beginning something about per 1,000. Can you, and this might be just a good educational,
So every $1,000 that your valuation is
yep,
towards our capital outlay,
Yep.
you're gonna pay $1.44.
$1.44 in the capital.
Well,
outlay.
just to our capital outlay.
Yep,
Yep.
But
And that number continues to go down, but in 23 payable 24, you would have paid $1.44.
Okay.
For your single-family dwelling, along with that, you would have paid $3.29.
okay.
That goes toward general fund, pay teachers, turn on the lights, pay our electrical bill, fuel, and then you would have paid $1.57 towards special ed.
Okay,
Because the feds don't properly fund their program
right.
that they created.
So, and then, and this is really for my educational purposes, because I've knocked on doors a lot, and I'm just gonna, people always talk, they want to blame us for property taxes, people want to blame the school district. What I tell people is, if you have an issue, you contact your legislators, okay? I mean, that's where the battle doesn't start with equalization. If you want property tax reform, whatever that looks like, that starts obviously at the state level. And then you said something about 70%, so when I see that breakdown in mine, because I get that letter, when you go pay your taxes out of pocket, you look at that price a lot more
Oh, yeah.
versus it being escrow.
Yep.
So when you said 70%, there might be dollars going to the city that gets transferred, can you kind of expound on the 70%? You said about 70% of those taxes go to the school district, but on my property tax form, I wish I had mine's about 33, 34. It looks like in a breakdown, it's about a third of my property taxes go to the school.
Sure, and when I say 70, just from the state's total pot of money
Yep.
that we're digging out of, we get 70% of that about.
Out of this, okay,
On a local basis, Sean, I would say, looking at mine, it's maybe, I don't know that it's not 50%. So what the city, or what the school would get is probably about 40, I would say.
oh yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. There's a lot more stuff on there. I thought there
Yeah.
were only 3 categories.
No, there's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
There's a lot of people have their, I think I said that night too, that there's a lot of people that have their fingers in the thing. I think I said that night too. So, all right, anybody else got any questions? If not, we'll let Dr. Knight go home and shovel snow.
Again, thank you, and if anybody ever has any questions, we certainly are open to that. We want to be as transparent as we can and know that we're going to try to be as efficient as we can, but still provide quality education for our kiddos.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Doctor.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to reports. We will have our deputy give us an update. Deputy Rechtenbaugh.
How's it going tonight?
Good.
Amazing.
Lovely weather.
My numbers are a lot easier for me to understand. This month, I took the report from January 28th to February 24th. We had 162 calls for service, which was a decrease in 74. We had 5.79
I got the wrong one.
for service per day.
There's a January one in
This
there.
one says January.
Does it say how many calls for service do we have?
236,
Oh, yeah, that'd been the old one.
yeah.
Yeah, that was last month, so.
I guess we better listen to you this time.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had 3
we don't have to look
accidents.
at, so you better,
1 injury accident, 2 without an injury. There were 6 assaults this month, which was an increase of 3. No DWIs, no burglaries. We had 11 case reports, 2 warrant services, which was a decrease of 3. It was rather slow month this month. 4 arrests, and then Hartford accounted for 4.33% of the case reports from the agency.
okay.
Any questions?
How's transition to the day shift going? Good?
Good.
Yeah. Are you, like, how's it going in the town? Everybody treat you pretty well? Get
Yeah.
along with everybody? Going good?
Yeah,
Good.
haven't really bumped heads with anyone, so that's good.
Wait till the summer.
You scared me the other day, we were coming into town,
Yeah.
and I looked at my mirror and you were flipping a U-turn, and I thought, son of a gun.
What time?
You were pulling in over by the cemetery, you were up by
Yeah.
the school. I thought, man, if he stops me, I'm gonna have a problem.
I have a problem on Mickelson.
Sometimes.
What time on Nicholson?
Deputy Curtis and I have met before on Mickelson. But you come, it's like no, it's just a straight shot,
Yeah.
and then you're up that hill, and then you're going down, and it's
Yeah.
only 30 there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are probably used to 35. and-
Yeah.
With the roads being so nice this winter, the speeds have just been unbelievable coming down our road.
Yeah.
It's really been.
Yeah, my mom, I was sitting on Nicholson for a while there, and my mom drove by, and I wasn't paying attention at the time, but she's like, when she passed me, I could see she was speeding, because she was like, I better slow down, and then she told me later, she had my niece in the vehicle, so she's like, Blair, I was speeding.
Well, that's good. Any questions for the
I've set my
deputy?
cruise on that road.
Yeah, it's bad.
So that-
I do too.
It's nice and wide, and
Yep. Anybody got any questions?
feels like you're out of town.
Thank you, deputy.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. You
Drive
bet.
safe.
Will do.
All right, most exciting part of the evening. Engineers report.
You bet. Good evening, everyone. Quick update on a few general engineering items. County chip seal project, those contracts, notice forward, have been sent to the road guy. To get those signed, have not heard those back, but we'll continue to move those along once we receive them. Update on that, we received them this week. We received them this week. Quick update for you. So we'll keep pushing those forward. The slurry seal project was bid last week. The total bid came to $199,354.40. I did note on the bid tab that the city of Sioux Falls did omit a single bid item that we had included on our plans. That total does include that omission. There was unit prices for other cities for that item that we're going to extend for that. So if you see a change order coming, once we get those contract signs, that's forward. Lastly, on the general engineering side, the TAP grant did receive word that for the trail along Mickelson Road, that was awarded to the city of Hartford. So with that, we anticipate design this year with construction next. Moving on to project updates on the water resource recovery facility. Slow work, especially this week, but air mod piping is continually installed as the weather allows, and then additionally did receive delivery of quite a few pieces of equipment, so continuing to make progress on the interior of the building. Moving on to the Western Avenue, only update there, to get an addendum published for the state, had a call with Sam there on their bidding side, just some minor plan revisions, but the big thing there was that the bid date was pushed back to March 12th. The reason being is there were some issues advertising, didn't make the paper in time to meet the 10-day requirement in codified law. The DOT commission does meet the 13th, the day following. They've indicated to us that they do not expect any delays to the project to result from that delay in bidding. Lastly, on the Parks Master Planning project, vision meetings last week went very well from what I heard. A lot of good conversations, and we are moving forward with phases 2A and 2B of the project, which include citywide parks and trails master plan, as well as a mini master plan for the Hartford City Park. That is all I have for updates. If there are any questions, otherwise I do have an action item for the council.
All right, let's talk about, any questions first before we move to the action item? Nope, go ahead.
Yep, so pay request number 17 to Rice Lake Construction is in the amount of $1,058,815. That includes equipment deliveries as noted, electric and process piping, dewatering, UV, and conveyor equipment.
Make a motion to approve pay request number 17 to Rice Lake Construction Group for $1,058,815.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
All right, anything else, Michael?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Your other guy behind you got anything to say?
Michael noted bid letting March 12th. Just to let you guys know, we'll have bid tabs ready for you guys to review on March 18th. So
Okay.
it's next council meeting for Western Avenue. So we'll provide good clarity going forward. That's the only addition I have, unless you guys have whatever.
What is the gut feel on that?
Gut feel is, pretty good right now, and I've been poking DOT a little bit too, just based on, sometimes there's a little difference on the DOT side of things than what I'll call the municipal side of things, just on the scale of the projects, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about $15 million total. It's a different contractor pool to the general, something like that, just on bonding limits. There were some big projects that did prior to this one, but just based on the contractors that have the plans pulled, the questions that are coming in, there's a lot of contractor appetite for it. It's a good project for these coastal Sioux Falls. So.
Yep.
I was at the home show and the DOT had a booth set up, and I talked to a representative there, and he's feeling confident that it should be pretty competitive. He said the same, there's some hungry people
Yeah.
out there, and so it's good to not just hear it from the engineers, right? Now, who I really want to hear it from are the contractors, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, me too, that makes
Yeah.
sense to us. And then just the other thing to note, Ari on our team was awarded 30 under 30, so I'm.
Oh, man, you guys are, you're on a streak.
You're gonna have to come up with something new for me.
Yeah.
40 under 40.
Well, you're
There you go,
31 over 50 or something, we'll call you. All right, anything else, Michael or Justin, either one?
I'm good.
Good, thank you, guys. All right, we'll turn over to Craig, Public Works Superintendent.
I have nothing to add. Just a little bit of flurries we had to go through the out sanding tomorrow morning, where the guys coming in early to sand, but otherwise that's all I got for no updates on my report. Short and sweet.
Yeah. We seen this snow must have been really odd, because there's towns that had snow alerts going on.
Yeah, a lot of them are, I think, just because of the winds.
Got it drifting up.
I see that ladder still there.
You guys you went all day, didn't you? Boy, a lot of these guys closed around here.
Half of my job trying to convince them to stay in school, but
Are these other supers are soft? aren't
we
they?
stayed tough. Trojan tough.
All right, any other questions or anything for Craig? It's not something I gotta ask you guys. All right, good enough, thank you. We'll move on to Karen's report.
Yep, my report's in the packet. I just wanted to give an update on the election. You probably all know already that Arden and Sean and Ryan all filed petitions and were unopposed. So they will be 2 more years with us. And then Michelle Edgecombe-Schilling,
Yep.
I'm saying that right, filed petitions for Ward 3, and she was unopposed.
I already apologized to the mayor ahead of time, so for
Michelle. For you running again?
2 years.
That would be
Yeah.
bad if he'd have said yes.
Oh, no.
Good job, Sean.
Hey, I recruited Michelle. I recruited her.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think she's gonna be a good addition. She
She'll be
came
very
over to
good.
our house and I signed a petition with and talked with her. She's been watching meetings for a couple of years and is kind of
Yeah.
on the up and up with city
Yeah.
business, so
Yep.
she should be a good addition to the council.
Really active with downtown Hartford.
Yep.
Seniors, she has a soft spot in her heart for the senior.
Lisa,
How
have
would
you
you
changed
know,
your
Artie?
mind yet?
Not yet.
I'm one of them.
You say that like it's a possibility.
I have a feeling Lisa probably, what? I don't know if I'm gonna call you and ask you. How's that sound?
We need girl power. Be the first
You're gonna have
council with 3 women.
Oh, man.
Come on, Lisa. Yeah, 3 of us.
Pressure.
Oh, I don't know.
If there's one thing I do well, it's peer pressure.
Mayor's getting nervous over there.
Uh-oh, I better quit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be a dramatic swing.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you, Karen. Teresa, day before you go on vacation, I'm sure you're reportedly quick.
Yep, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. No, you've got most of my updates, you've got the project updates. The only thing different on my report, not really different, just let you know, we are advertising the open liquor license in quite a few spots. I have had a couple interested parties already that I've sent it directly to them, so hopefully we'll get some kind of return out of that. Just to let you know, we're, with the wastewater treatment facility, that new position advertising, we've got about 6 applications in already. A couple look fairly promising, and we're advertising this month, so hopefully we'll continue to spark some interest in that as well.
Anyone with certification?
Class
that
3?
we need?
Nothing class 3 yet, unless.
Not class 3 certification.
Just
Well,
curious.
2, so, yeah. I know. So, we'll see. Hopefully, next week we'll have a couple of class 3 certified.
right now.
Well, you don't
Till
know.
Till they say.
Okay, he took the test, we just don't have the results yet, so. Him and Jesse both did, so hopefully we'll hear some good news from that. Otherwise, my updates are in the packet. Just want to point out, the District 3 meeting is coming up, and that's a municipal league holds the whole state's broke down to districts, and our southeast portion is District 3. And that is Wednesday, March 26th at Del Rapids. It's invited to, you know, city staff, council, or whatnot. It's kind of a nice little get-together there. They do a social and a meal, and then the nice thing about that I like to hear is that they kind of give you the legislative update that really affects municipalities and, you know, the new legislation coming out that we need to abide by. So it's kind of a nice little program to always attend, and it's close this year. So if you want to go, I think the 11th is registration deadline. You know, let me or Karen know, and we can get you registered.
I will be gone, so if somebody could go, that'd really be great, because Teresa's
I
planning.
plan on going, so yeah.
But I have another commitment that day, so.
And otherwise, the only thing I just want to point out that wasn't in my report, I don't know if you guys have heard, but Sophie Johnson with CCOG, who's been our representative, our community health guy, she got promoted within the organization. She is actually moving to Dakota Business Finance. So she's still working with the city and helping us with their grants or whatnot till they get somebody hired and trained and in place. But just kind of want to mention that we'll probably have a new rep that we'll be working with so they get somebody in. So, otherwise, any questions?
All right, anything for Teresa? If not, we'll move to old business. We got a couple items on there. First is the Reed Loan Fund for Western Avenue. I know you've had conversation with that group.
Yeah, so just updates with the Western Avenue improvement. So the first one is, we discussed this at our last meeting about the Reed loan, that our original agreement that both parties signed allowed for a 20-year loan at the, make sure I don't, $300,000 at 4% with the 20-year fixed rate. We found out that Since this is the secured loan, they're asking for collateral for this loan. The re-loan can only take it out for 5 years, so they would have to basically 5 years, take our payments, and at the end of that 5 years, we would have a balloon payment that we either have to pay off or we'd have to refinance for another 5 years and so forth till we get to our 20 years. The only problem with that, we talked about last time, is that they weren't going to guarantee the interest rate, so we basically, at the end of 5 years, we're taking that chance if we want to refinance, interest rates going higher, and that would change our payments and total that we would pay out. Did talk with Eric Fosheim after our last meeting, and he did have some more conversations with the attorney on their side, and he says a workaround is that we can pretty much sign an agreement that basically, if his board approved, that would allow us have a guaranteed interest rate every time we refinance. So basically, it'd be the same deal, 20-year loan, same payment, same interest rate. We would just, it would be at the end of every 5 years, we just have to refinance that balloon or pay it off if we want. And, you know, we can look at our position at that time. So that does guarantee that 4%, so there's no risk with that. I asked him every time we refinance if that would, if we would incur any origination fees or any administration fees, you know, with that. They said they would wipe all that, so, you know, it'd just be basically a little bit of paperwork on the side, but no cost to the city. That deal, and he said he'd have to get it approved by his board, of course. Their board met today. I just talked with them this afternoon. They did approve that. So if we want to go down that road, still do the loan, loan, $300,000 at the 4%. I don't see really where there's any risk to the city in that, and kind of gets us our same deal. Like I said, you know, we don't have to do it. We could roll this over to our sales tax bond, but that's a little bit in higher interest rate, so we might as well take advantage of this interest rate. So if the council is all okay with that, he would send out a new agreement with the terms of basically wording in there about the balloon payment that we will look at our next meeting.
Yeah, as long as they clearly have the terms in there about no fees
Right.
and no change in interest
And no
rate.
change in the interest rate,
Right.
yeah. So.
It doesn't hurt us to not take any action on this, then we can wait until
No,
the
I
next
don't think we
meeting.
need to take any action,
Okay.
and I wouldn't want to
Okay.
take any action. Eric did send me kind of a draft of the new agreement, but I said I would like to have our attorney look at it and present it to the council at our next meeting before we actually sign anything, so.
All right.
And he was good with that, so. We'll put that on the next agenda if everybody's good with that.
Sounds good.
Okay?
The next one's the community access.
Yep, and I finally got a conversation with Paula with the state at 4:30 this afternoon on it. Wasn't getting any luck of getting in contact with her. Actually, Justin got a phone call from her yesterday, Monday. He got one before I got one and talked to her a little bit, but she did call me this afternoon later. Basically, what she conveyed to me, you all know the situation that we sent in our grant application. It did not get to the grant committee, you know, she had missed that when it was sent to her. So we have a unique situation here. She conveyed to me that we can submit the same grant for, they're out of funds for this year, obviously, because they've awarded them all, but we can resubmit the same grant application for this next round of funding. It will not, I asked her, will it hurt us? Because part of that is that you can't start your project without having this grant funding. They will not take that into consideration. We can go ahead and start our project. She knows this project is being let. They're going to just forego that, you know, requirement, just because of the unique circumstances we have. So we can resubmit our grant application. As with the first go around, you know, nothing's guaranteed. She did say, it looks like we have a strong application, so definitely want us to reapply for it, the project. And obviously with reapplying grant, any of the funds wouldn't come in until next year, but I think we can fold that, you know, portion of it until the following year and wouldn't help our project. So definitely worth resubmitting. I guess that's our thing at this point, is that the state will allow us to apply for it and continue moving forward with our project.
The only other thing was that she noted to me, typically they require plan review, but since our plans already went through DOT plan review, would you check that out?
Yeah, she said, yeah, she did kind of mention that to me too, that we just have to submit our
Is she
application.
gonna send an email outlining that, or that was all verbal?
That was all verbal on the phone today. I said, she called at 4:30, and I got a meeting that I need to give an update to, and so I can have her.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, either ask her to email her with those points and ask her to confirm or
Yeah.
clarify.
Yep.
Yeah, we better have
Not that I don't trust him, but she already made one mistake, so,
yeah,
or she quits her job.
we better have a copy of that.
True, definitely, yeah, because like I said, who knows, if she moves on, just to make sure it's clear that we are allowed to move forward with our project and still be considered for the grant, so.
So
Yep.
with our sales tax bond, if next year we apply, we receive the money, we can just straight bang pay that? Yep,
Yep.
right, okay.
Yep, that'll be 80% coming into
That'd be
us, so
just
if,
a
yeah, if we want to put it towards
Lump sum,
one
right.
of the loans
Okay.
we got, we certainly
Yep.
can.
Got it. Okay. You need any action on that one? No.
No, I don't need any action. I will confirm with you, because basically they'll come down, we'll have to resubmit for the grant this year.
All right? Perfect.
Okay, so, all right.
All right, we will move to new business. We have a few tax abatements for the county. And these have all been paperwork approved, signed off by the county, correct?
Right, yep, it's all gone to the county commission, they've signed off on it. Obviously, their property here in town, so we have to sign off on it as well. There's a few of them, 2 of them are for veterans exemptions, 2 of them are elderly exemptions, and then the rest are basically clerical errors that happened in the equalization office, they didn't get. One of them is a couple pieces of property, didn't get it split off right, so they were charging the wrong assessment to the wrong party, so it's correcting that mistake for the past few years. And then one of the properties down here, downtown, they had a building on the property showing up on their tax assessment, and they just caught it that the building's no longer there, so they're adjusting for that, so.
Make a motion to approve tax abatements as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Barons?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
All right, last up under new business is citywide marketing campaign. We tabled this a couple meetings ago, I think, last meeting. Long and short, for you, those of you that I haven't talked with about this, I want to try to get us, get a centralized marketing plan for all of our groups. Chamber, Hometown Christmas, Jamboree Days, Downtown Hartford to a lesser extent, but them also, to go around our new logo that we put together, and we got a tagline and a new logo, and we've kind of left it set, and we haven't done anything with it. And I think we need to capitalize on that and have some unification, if you will, of our marketing campaign with all of our groups. Now, what I'd like, a couple things from the council, yes, no, or you think this is a good idea, bad idea, shouldn't be doing it. Secondly, if we are gonna move forward, I'd really like to have us, as a council, kind of split up and go see these organizations and have conversations with them. And couple of us that go to each one and just kind of lay it out, talk to them. And I think it would be good anyway for us to start having conversations with these groups anyway, prior to budget time. How's that sound? So, questions, thoughts? And we did have a preliminary meeting with Hank and Schultz, who did the logo. We picked them because they have as much good background with City of Hartford as anybody. And you see in the notes that Teresa put in there, depending on how much we wanted them to do, it's gonna cost us $60,000, or it could cost us $100,000, depending on how much advertising we wanna do or what we all want to entail. But what I really would like with this group is to have them help us put together a campaign.
Would we be asking those groups to contribute, or is the city looking to?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think I would like to have them contribute to a certain degree, since not only do we give them money, but they've been making money. You know, we see their books. We know that some of these organizations got some cash. I think it's probably a time for us to have that conversation and say, hey, would you guys be interested in, you know, partnering with us? Because I think it's gonna help us all if we do it right. If we do it right. So yes, I think I would look to these groups to give us some help.
It's kind of right pocket, left pocket.
It is to a certain degree, but they're doing well. Some of them are doing pretty well, so.
Next question, do we have money in the third penny
To pay for
to
this?
pay for this?
Some funds in third penny.
Because that would fall into that category,
That-
correct?
I mean,
Yeah.
what we can spend that on is limited, so if we
Yeah.
could pay for it.
Yeah, and this would probably be the place to put it out, because promotions is clearly, allowed in the third penny. Right now, we're sitting as cash third penny, about 267,000. We haven't paid out anything though with HADF or the chamber on that. There's some budget in there, whether we pay that out or not.
Well, maybe we do this
Council.
instead.
Yep, like I said, that's totally up to the board.
I like the idea. I like the unification or marketing Hartford. I think when you get into, because marketing is such a generalized term, right? It is. And I was a part of an organization in Hartford here a few years ago where they partnered with a company and with another organization in town, and I don't know what the bill was. It was a substantial amount of money. It wasn't 60 or 100, but I think they helped out with half of that. And my question at that time was like, what are we marketing?
Right.
How are we targeting? And it's not we, right? It's Hank and Schultz. So there's always the question of what is the actual purpose out of this, out of what we're doing? My two concerns would be, you have different organizations who obviously have, to your point, have different amounts of money.
Right.
Some of those organizations are not sitting financially well.
Right.
Okay. Some are doing okay. All of those organizations are subsidized by, it's taken left from the right pocket to the left pocket, so they're subsidized by taxpayers. And so I would be curious on just the logistics of it, where you have, the city of Hartford, you have these organizations, and then unifying in one broad vision, and then the second thing, and so I'm not gonna exposit too much on that, but when it gets to the marketing thing, I really want to have a really solid idea of what are we actually trying to accomplish out of this. Okay, so there's 1.5 points there. The second point is, if the council does decide to move forward with this, we're not spending 10 grand here. We would have to I think we would have to solicit other bids. It's great. I think we would, yes, and I'm sure, but the way that it's presented is that.
Well, we talked with, and the
Yes.
reason we started with them is because they have the history.
You have a
with us.
relationship, so.
Right.
I have more to say on that, but I will rest my case. I just think that there's a lot to figure out.
Oh, yeah.
I think, and I appreciate I think, take a couple people, go talk to the chamber, go talk to HADF, go talk to who else, and.
Yeah, Jamboree,
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have some homework to do. Basically, I wanted to get the ball rolling on this deal and talk with you guys and make sure everybody was kind of on the same page with what I would like to see us do. Because I do think in the long run, it could be very beneficial for us.
Would this be for this year or next year? Because
yeah,
we're in a deficit this year, we don't have this, we do have the third penny, but it's
Right.
another point, we are in deficit, we're in deficit spending.
But what we can spend the third penny on is very limited.
Right.
It is limited, right,
We
yep.
can't use it for anything else.
Hank and Schultz has a real shining star that they like to point to, which is the city of Laverne. And if you've ever been to Laverne, they do a nice job over there. They've got banners, they've got a very unified, and they hang their hat on that.
brought
And-
up several times.
Yeah, oh man, they brought that up a lot. They showed, they have pictures of
I've been to Wilber. They
what,
do very
yes.
nice.
So.
You kind of see their logo everywhere.
I think they have the background to be able to do that.
You know,
And I think Laverne, I think that was a pretty big time, that was a big time, plan, project, so.
I don't know. To me, it sounds like a community development, economic development, probably initiative to bring businesses in.
Right.
So I don't know that asking some of the other organizations to help foot the bill, I think for cooperation and participation, for sure, but I just don't know.
Yeah,
and yeah, I think that brings up, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hammer on this, so
Yeah.
please cut me off, but you brought up the, unique term there, right, is, are we doing this, and I'm just talking openly, but are we doing this to drive economic development? And I look at that, and I
help
this
our
is an open
businesses,
thing.
help the chamber, help our events be more,
Right.
thrive more. I mean,
We're just getting the ball rolling and.
I'm looking at the 1,000-foot level.
This is allow them to gauge interest
Yeah.
and, get some feedback, right? You need a motion on this?
Well, I think first off, I think we have to have that discussion. And what I'll probably do to start is maybe we'll poll the council and say, okay, you got any general area of really, that you have some desire? So, if Cindy wants to go with me and talk to the Jamboree Committee, or whoever it may be, I may just send that out as a poll and say, hey, give me what's your interest level, who would you like to go talk, and then we'll start setting up those meetings.
I don't think we need a motion at this.
Yeah.
We're not spending money, we're not
Right.
doing anything, but
no official
I think
action
if the
yeah.
mayor and if some people, like you said, want to gauge the interest, there needs to be a lot more discussion, like you said, Sean, because that's exactly what Hank Control said. We need to figure out what the target is, what the
Right.
goal is, who's participating, there's a lot of questions. So I think what you're looking for is just to start those discussions
Yeah,
with the.
and I'm not hearing that anybody thinks that I'm,
I
You're not
support
crazy.
allowing the mayor and staff to move forward and gauge interest from other entities for a citywide marketing campaign.
oh, wow.
That was an unofficial
Very-
motion right there.
That was a lot.
I agree.
It's on public record.
I agree in a non-official
Way,
segment,
okay.
not motion.
Well, I appreciate that. So we'll probably put together a little poll to everybody and just kind of, we'll target who we want to, who I feel.
How
or
many
who
special
we-
meetings?
That's my goal, whenever I get a
That may be a
chance.
way to go about it, kind of put together a questionnaire or whatnot and present it to the group.
Yeah.
And say, are you
Yep.
interested in this, or would you,
Yeah.
and just kind of get some,
think
gauge
it's a good
their
place to start.
level of interest in it.
Well,
yeah.
and I think it'll be interesting to gather information about the questions that are listed in the agenda
Yeah.
from those groups, and,
So do we own this logo? Do we own it, or do every time we use it, we pay a royalty?
No, we own it.
Should we trademark it?
I don't know if we.
We
did
should
they-
trademark
I
it
didn't
and
put
let
it-
other organizations in Hartford use
I was
it.
just saying, it was designed for us,
should
I
make
mean,
them all
we
use
paid for
this.
it.
Get a registered trademark?
Yep.
No, it's trademarked.
I mean, they can start using this in all their social media and all their.
Yeah, that's,
I don't know that they all want to. I don't know that.
well, that's why we're gonna have conversations with them.
Can
'cause
I throw
think that's part
one,
of it.
can I throw one?
One
thing?
more thing, that's it.
No, this is good, because I think this
Okay.
will get our, this is good, I promise, Mayor. I think this will maybe get our brains kind of flowing as we have discussions on this, but for me, the one thing that I like about Hartford and also kind of like the future of Hartford that I would like to see is like, I look at Hartford as, this is a place where you can live, work, and play. So we've got almost everything you need in Hartford except a clothing store. I mean, but Hartford is kind of a,
We have women's clothing.
oh yeah, yes, they do.
You go to Grocott,
Yes, I could, yes. I could,
you won't have any pants.
they could
They
sell
might even have that
But,
too. I don't know.
Swishy pants.
I look at Hartford as a one-stop
Yeah.
shop. One-stop shop. Live, work, and play. I feel like I've seen that somewhere, but,
I don't think it's original.
well, I'm
Trademark,
trademarking it right
we
now.
should probably stop saying that.
Yeah. All right, good point.
Thank you, Mayor. That means-
All right? Thank you for your input. We'll get something put together now to you all. All right, I believe we want to move in for executive session for economic development.
Motion move to executive session.
And-
For
and
economic
personnel.
And personnel.
development. Do we want to talk about?
Personnel.
I think we should talk about
Second.
candidates.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you want?
And personnel.
Yeah,
And second.
yep.
All in favor?
Aye. Cindy.
Thank you, Mr. Knight.
Yes, appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric.
You bet, thank you.
I see there's some new Air Jordan